So this week I'll be showing you how to make cevapi at home. Otherwise referred to as skinless sausages, they're a beautiful little meaty finger that generally paired really well with a side of ayvat or fresh made home bread. So you'll start off by adding 100 ml of cold water into your pot with your freshly chopped garlic. Now if you want, you can grind your garlic if you want to add the garlic in the actual meat itself, but I choose to strain it, hence why it's just chopped coarsely. Once it boils for approximately 3 to 4 minutes at a high heat, you're going to strain that. Now the reason why I strain it is I prefer the cevapi to be more just meat, smooth, sort of in texture. If you obviously add the chopped garlic, you get a bit more of that feeling and crunch, but it's personal preference. If you don't want to discard the garlic, you can add the whole thing. Next up, you'll take all your mince combined into one bowl, and to this you're going to be adding your salt, soda bicarb, black pepper, mineral water, and of course your garlic water. Now this is the most important, the key step to ensuring that your cevapi are going to be really juicy, moist, but of course that the meat texture is the right way. So you're going to be mixing this for approximately 20 to 30 minutes by hand. Yes, it is a long time. You can use a K-beater on your mixing machine. However, I find if you use that, sometimes it becomes too much of a paste and sort of more like a pasteta rather than the actual cevapi texture. But you'll notice that it starts to sort of come together and become really smooth, and that's when it's good to go. Now you need to pop this back in the fridge to make it easier to handle and form your cevapi, so I would recommend at least an hour in the fridge, and in the meantime you can prepare bread, as you can see in my image here. Follow for next week because I'll be uploading the lep recipe. So for this video I'll be using my mixer attachment, as that's my own personal preference. However, if you don't have this, you can still make them. So obviously I'll be using the sausage maker. However, you can contact Tupperware and see if they still stock this little beauty, which is basically a little compartment. It comes with different nozzles. You just pop your mince in once you've clicked in which nozzle size you prefer, and then you use the blue part to push down your meat and it sort of comes out. It has this plastic piece you can put underneath, so then that way you can measure and make your portions the same size. Although if you can't find that, a Glad bag, that is literally all you need. So you'll oil your hands, pop a little ball inside, and you'll notice now as you keep rubbing your fingers across left and right, it will slowly make your cevapi form. It will actually make it longer the more you rub it and roll it, and then when you pop it out, you've got a perfectly formed cevapi. So yes, if you don't have the machine, don't stress, you can still make them. Now for cooking your cevapi, I would recommend heating up your pan on a high heat and cooking it throughout the whole time on the high heat. A little bit of oil to help them from sticking, and I personally don't recommend using tongs. I recommend just constantly flipping and tossing them around so that they evenly cook through. If you need the tongs to sort of flip one here and there because you find there's this one odd one that's not cooking on one side, obviously you can do that, but I do recommend flipping it. That is how they traditionally do it on the markets and on the streets in Europe. And you find that you'll get a lot softer of a cevapi rather than a dry, sort of crusty version. And there you have wonderful tasting homemade chavapi.